Good morning, monsters. How are you doing? I'm going to read chapter 12 for you. I'm going to do it quite quickly. If you hear banging in the background, that's because I've got a guy in to fix the lights in my kitchen, so he's banging and crashing all around. So, the last chapter that we did, the bears and Moonface and the girls had got back to the bear's house and found somebody in the house, which turned out to be Joe. But then, just when they thought everything was all right, all the white bears came, and then they were in trouble, weren't they? So this is chapter 12, and it's called "What Happened to the Snowman." Everyone stared at the white bears in horror. No one had thought of the chimney. What a pity they hadn't stopped it up. "I'm going to let the magic snowman in," said the first white bear. Then the father bear spoke up in a very sorrowful voice. "Cousin, why are we enemies? We've always been good friends up till now." The four white bears looked at him and at Mother Bear in sudden amazement. Then they rushed at them with loud oomphy noises. Joe thought they were going to fight the three bears, but no, the white bears weren't going to fight. They were hugging the three bears as tightly as they could, and to the children's amazement, tears were pouring down their furry faces. "We didn't know it was you," said the white bears. "Why, cousins, we would never have fought you if only we had known you were the three bears we love so much." There," said Mother Bear, wiping the tears of a white bear off her fur. "It's all right, but for goodness sake, tell the other bears we're friends. We don't want our front doors to be battered down." Moonface opened the door and yelled out, "Bears, it's all right. This is the cottage of your cousins, the three bears. We're all friends." But the white bears didn't answer or come in. Instead, a big white shape came up and squeezed through the door. It was the magic snowman. A chill fell over the little room. The white bears were frightened of him, for he was their master. He shut the door and glared at everyone out of his stone eyes. "So even my own bears have gone over to the enemy. Oh ho, what will you say if I turn you into ice and snow, everybody?" Nobody said anything, but to Beth's surprise, Moonface shut the door and then went to the fire. He piled on 3 great logs and winked at Beth. The snowman looked up at the white bear, took the white bear by the scruff of the neck and shook him. "So you found your voice, did you?" he said. Didn't I tell you that you were the only one to say oomph and not talk or speak a word to anybody? I won't have bears that talk." He picked up another white bear and shook him. "So you're friends with my enemies, are you?" he said. The room became very hot. Joe took off his coat, and so did the others. Moonface slyly put another log on the fire. What do you think he's doing, guys? Have you worked it out yet? The room became very hot, and Joe took his coat off. So did the others. Moonface slyly put another log on the fire. The fire crackled and shot great flames up the chimney, and Franny wished she could take everything off. It was so hot. "Whatever does Moonface think he's doing, making this room so hot?" she thought crossly. But just as she was about to tell him what she was thinking, he winked at her and she said nothing. Moonface had some strange plan that he was carrying out. The snowman went on, grumbling and threatening. Everyone listened and said nothing. Moonface raked the fire and it blazed up higher. "Now this is what I'm going to do," said the magic snowman. "I'm going to take this nice little cottage for my own, and I shall live here. All of you can live in the snow house and freeze for all I care. You will all wait on me and do whatever I say." "That magic snowman, he's mean." "Yes," said everybody. They all know what Moonface's plan was. He meant to make the room so hot that the magic snowman would melt. Clever old Moonface. So that's what he's doing. A little trickle of water began to run from the snowman's broad white back, which was near the fire. Moonface pointed to it secretly and grinned. Franny thought that Moonface's beaming face looked so funny that she began to giggle. She really couldn't help it. Goldilocks giggled too and stuffed her handkerchief into her small mouth. Baby Bear gave a high squeak of a giggle. "How dare you laugh?" shouted the snowman angrily. "Outside, all of you, outside! This is my cottage now, and not one of you shall stay here." They all crowded outside except Moonface, who was crouched behind a big chair, determined not to leave the fire in case it burnt low. Outside it was bitterly cold. The white bears quickly dug up the snow and made a high wall to shelter the others from the wind. They crouched there, cuddling close to one another for warmth. The big white bears wrapped their furry arms around the children and warmed them beautifully. Joe thought they were very, very kind indeed. They waited and they waited. They could see smoke pouring from the chimney of the cottage, and they knew that Moonface must be keeping keeping up the fire. The bears oomphed every now and then, and children whispered to one another. Then suddenly the door of the cottage was flung over, and Moonface stood there, his face beaming like a full moon. "You can come back now," he shouted. "It's quite safe." They all crowded back to the cottage. Joe looked for the snowman, but he was gone. There was nothing to show that he had been there except for a very large puddle of water. "He melted very quickly," said Moonface. "He may have been magic and very powerful, but he was just made of snow after all. So he melted like a real snowman on a sunny morning." The polar bears oomphed with delight. They had hated being servants to the snowman. We'll say goodbye to you now," said the three bears. "This cottage is cozy, but it's far too hot for us. Come and see us again whenever you like. Goodbye." Everyone hugged them goodbye, and Joe felt quite sad to see them go. Moonface shut the door after them. "Now we'll get back home," he said. "I'm a bit tired of this land. Come on, bears, help me to get the cottage back safely." He didn't do the same magic as before. He drew a circle on the floor in blue chalk, and the three bears stood inside holding paws. Moonface danced around them, singing strings of odd magical words. A wind rose up, and the cottage rocked. Darkness came down, and for a moment no one could see anything at all. Then, gradually, the darkness went, and the wind blew no more. The sun shone warmly in at the window, and Beth gave a shout. "I say, we're back in the woody corner where we first saw the cottage, and it's daytime now, not nighttime." "Well, we've been having an adventure all night long," said Moonface with a laugh. "It's sunrise now, and the night has gone. You'd better hurry off. Home, children, or you'll be scolded for leaving your beds at night." They hugged Goldilocks and shook hands with the three bears. "We'll come back and see you sometime," said Franny. "Thanks so much for all of your help." Goldilocks and the three bears stood at the door and waved goodbye as Moonface hurried the three children away, down the lane to catch the train back to the Enchanted Wood. It wasn't long before they'd got to the station and waited for the train, slid off the roof and settled down in a carriage. When they got to the Enchanted Wood, they said goodbye to Moonface, and Franny gave him a kiss for being such a help. He was so pleased that he went red all over his enormous face, causing Beth to giggle. "You look like the setting sun now," she said. "You really ought to be called Sunface." "Goodbye, I hope to see you soon," called Moonface. Off went the children to their homes and got into bed just about an hour before their mother called them to get up. My goodness, they were very sleepy all of that day. And that's the end of the chapter. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and that you are behaving very nicely, and I will send you another chapter in the next day or two. All right, I'll speak to you soon, guys. Bye.